At the first glance, Trump's policies clash with Trump's promises. Trump promised to reduce gas prices, but his tariffs on oil will push prices up. Trump promised tax cuts, the biggest tax cuts in human history, but he's raising taxes in the form of tariffs. Trump promised to bring manufacturing back to America, but his tariffs on oil, steel and aluminum punish the American industries. He promised to stand up to China, but his tariffs make China the biggest winner and America the biggest loser. So why do Trump's policies clash with Trump's values?
Look what happened. Is this crazy?
What is the real reason, the hidden reason behind his policies? Hi, my name is Vitaly. I am an economist. I am a boring mainstream economist. And to understand this mystery, I went to the left-wing media, also known as the fake news media. And I watched dozens, hundreds, millions of shows, and I can sum them up in just one sentence. Trump is bad. I am sad. I am so sad. Cry me a river. But then I went to the right-wing media and I watched hundreds, millions, billions of shows, and I can sum them up in one sentence. America first. Support the president. It's a golden age of America. Their enthusiasm would make North Korea jealous. So I realized I had to find a solution by myself. I was on my own, all alone. So, friends, let me share with you my version, my answer to this mystery. Here it is. President Trump wants to trigger a US recession. So in this video we'll talk about why Donald Trump wants a recession, what benefits will the recession bring, and will Donald Trump's plan work. So stay with me for 10 minutes and you be the judge if my idea makes any sense. When I say that Donald Trump wants a recession, you probably want to scream, no! No president in his right mind would want a recession. The least of all Donald Trump. But look at my logic. 1. A US recession is inevitable. 2. Donald Trump knows it. 3. He wants to get it over with as soon as possible. I claim that the US recession is inevitable, and the main reason is the stream of COVID money is drying out. During the pandemic of 2020, the US government flooded the economy with free money, over $5 trillion. To put things in perspective, $5 trillion, that's the GDP of Japan, the third biggest economy in the world, and that gigantic pile of money was spent by the US government alone. These $5 trillion fueled the US economy over the past few years. They drove all prices up and gave us an almost near record inflation. They drove stock prices up and gave us a bubble in the stock market. And now this free money is ending. Now Americans will have to go back to the old school. To spend money, you must get a job and get paid. Very boring. Now, if I am right, if a US recession is inevitable, then Donald Trump would want it sooner rather than later. In fact, he would want it now, because only now he can blame Biden. Only now he can say, look at the mess, so the sleepy Joe left me. Donald Trump's plan is probably this. The year 2025, the economy falls into recession. The year 2026, the economy recovers, Donald Trump takes credit, and Republicans win the midterm election. First, he will get to blame Biden. which will be very enjoyable. Second, he will get low interest rates because the US Federal Reserve will start cutting the policy rates as soon as the recession hits. Right now, the US Federal Reserve is waiting for an excuse, any excuse, to cut the policy rate. And the US recession is a perfect excuse. Once a recession hits, the US Federal Reserve will start cutting the policy rate like there is no tomorrow. And the low policy rate will mean low interest rates. And low interest rates will mean smaller interest payments on the US public debt. The US public debt, still astronomical, will get smaller interest payments, so it will be a little bit easier, a little bit cheaper to serve the US public debt. Third, a US recession will imply a stock market crash. Donald Trump needs a stock market crash because right now the US stocks are hugely overvalued. There is no good news anymore for the US stocks to grow. So to grow, the stocks need to fall. So Donald Trump needs the stock market to fall first, to grow, and to start tweeting that stocks are growing, all thanks to his policies. And finally, if the US economy enters a recession in 2025, it will recover in 2026, just in time for the midterm election. The economy recovers, Donald Trump takes credit, and Republicans win the election.
Truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
So, Donald Trump needs an economic meltdown now. But the US economy is surprisingly strong. Other economies, other nations are already in recessions. Japan, Britain, Germany are in deep recessions. But the US economy is still going strong, and the window of opportunity for Donald Trump is closing down. Very soon, people won't even remember Joe Biden, and everything happening to the US economy, good and bad, will be Trump's fault or to Trump's credit. Donald Trump is deliberately destroying the US economy, hoping for a recession. The sooner the recession, the better for Trump. Once you accept the fact that the US recession is inevitable, then Trump's seemingly crazy policies make perfect sense. It only looks like he doesn't know what he's doing, but instead he's laser focused on his goal. Trump slaps tariffs one day, cancels them the next, imposes tariffs again because he wants to confuse businesses. The bigger the confusion, the sooner the recession. Donald Trump fires government employees because he wants fewer government services and more unemployed people. The higher the unemployment, the sooner the recession. Donald Trump promised tax cuts, but he raises tariffs to stifle the US manufacturing. The worse the US manufacturing, the sooner the recession. Now, is it going to work? Will the US economy suffer a recession in 2025? And Donald Trump enjoy all the benefits in 2026? All the benefits like low policy rate, economic recovery, stock market growth, and a midterm election win. Here is my opinion. The president is playing with fire. Because if he's successful, if he triggers a recession, it's not going to be a usual recession. It's going to be stagflation. And stagflation is when not one, but two disasters hit the economy: recession and inflation. Stagflation is the worst economic crisis imaginable. It will be so bad that the pandemic recession of 2020 will look like good old times. And when stagflation hits, a government can't do anything. Whatever it does, it makes things worse. If it ends a recession, it starts a runaway inflation. But if it puts prices under control, the recession gets deeper and it lasts longer. So the president might unleash an economic storm he can't stop. Donald Trump wants this recession to be quick and painless, but it might be long and severe. Trump's tariffs will hit America first.
America first.
By the way, we didn't know that when Trump said America first, he meant America will suffer first. So America will suffer
First.
But then Trump's tariffs will hit other countries, those who sell their products to the United States. So the American recession will become global. Right now, Germany, Britain and Japan are in recessions, and European economies show zero economic growth. So the world economy needs just a little push to enter a global recession. And Trump's tariffs are not a gentle push, they're a blow to the world economy. President Trump is hammering the world economy into a global meltdown. And again, I claim that this is exactly what Donald Trump wants. This is Trump's plan. He wants an American recession, and he wants a global recession so that the US can print dollars and buy resources all over the world for cheap. So that even if the US dollar collapses, the US will hold real assets. Will Trump's plan work? Yes. No. Yes, it will work, especially with countries which are friends of the United States, Canada and the European Union. Canada and Europe will be happy to obey. They will be happy to sell their resources. They will be happy to give resources to the United States. They will comply with Donald Trump's orders. But other countries, especially members of BRICS, will stand up to Trump. They will not let the US take their resources. But even if the US takes resources only from Canada and Europe, if the US enriches itself at the expense of Canada and Europe, that will be good enough for Trump.
America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer.
But what do you think? Does President Trump want an American recession and a global recession? Put your answer below. I thank you for your input and I'll talk to you next time.